and welcome back to Dreamy Maxi Style. I'm Robin, and today we are talking about happily ever after dessert parties, specifically the 3 that happen at Tomorrowland Terrace. So let's get into it. So Jeffrey and I have been able to do 2 of the 3 dessert parties for happily ever after at Tomorrowland Terrace. The first one that we did was the after fireworks dessert party, and the other one we did was the Seats and Sweets. Both were really good and very similar, but I'm gonna talk a little bit about the pluses and the minuses, as well as tell you which one we preferred, would we do it again, and for us, was it worth the price point? So first of all, let's talk about what all 3 of them are. Like I said, we've done the post-dessert party as well as the Seats and Sweets. There's also a pre-dessert party. So the pre-dessert party is exactly what it sounds like. You check in about an hour and a half before the fireworks start, and you get taken to your seat. You receive a wristband, and that wristband allows you to get your desserts, along with gets you into the seating area on the hub grass that is pretty much right in front of Plaza Inn and right in front of Tomorrowland Terrace. It's sectioned off, there are cast members there, and it's a place where you get to stand and watch the fireworks. So with the pre-dessert party, you are basically getting there about an hour and a half beforehand. You check in, you get your wristband, you get taken to a table. That's your table to get to sit and enjoy all of your sweet treats. And then about 20 minutes before the fireworks, you leave your table and you get to go into the hub area. Now, you do not get to bring any of the items from the dessert party into the hub area. So you cannot bring a glass of wine, a beer, anything like that. None of your leftover treats that you might have left, unless you put them in a little baggie and, walk in with them. And then you're also, when you do the pre-dessert party, you're more in the back of the hub area because all of the post-dessert party people are already there sitting. So let's get into the post-dessert party now. So for the post-dessert party, basically about half hour to 45 minutes, you go get your wristbands, and then they say, okay, at 45 minutes to a half hour before the fireworks start, you can come in and get your spot. So what I recommend doing is, as soon as you get your wristband, they're gonna walk you over to the hub area. You say, great, thanks. You run to the restroom. If you want a water or something, you try and go get a water. Occasionally they'll let you get a glass of water or a bottle of water from the dessert area, but most likely you won't be able to. So just hit the restroom, go and find your spot. At this point, they're gonna instruct you on where in the hub area you're allowed to be. So you're not supposed to be on any of the walkways, because that's how people are getting around you. So you can sit anywhere on the hub grass. One thing to say is, when we did the post-dessert party, there were probably about 20 people in the hub grass area already before we got there, but we still got a really good spot and we really staked out where we wanted to be. We did have one pole in front of us, but it was a great viewing area. We were able to see the projections on the castle. It was really, really nice. So we got there about 40 minutes early, and we kind of took turns running to the restroom. And then about 15 minutes before the show started, everybody was standing up. Everybody was ready to go. It was everybody went from sitting down and kind of spread out to standing up and kind of right on top of each other, so to speak. It really wasn't that bad. It was definitely better than it would have been on Main Street. But that's when, if you're claustrophobic or have anxiety, that's kind of when that starts to set in a little bit. But you have a great time with the viewing, and it's so enjoyable and such a beautiful show. So once the fireworks are over, at that point, then you post-dessert party people get to go and indulge in your beverages, desserts, and get to sit down and relax at the tables. So let's talk a little bit about the items at the dessert party itself. So when you are actually at the dessert party, you have your table, you have an array of alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. Depending on your age will depend on your color wristband, and that will let them know if you are able to have an alcoholic beverage or not. So for regular drinks, they have lemonade, tea, water, pog juice, which is the passion orange guava, pineapple orange guava, and so you have a good variety of non-alcoholic beverages. And then for alcoholic beverages, you have a couple different types of beer. You have white wine, red wine, and then like a Moscato. So it has a very nice and good variety in regards to the sweet treats. So for those of you who are not sweets people, they do have like little crostinis, they have cheese, fruit, so they do have some things like that. There's not a huge abundance of it, and it is definitely something that goes very quickly. So if that's what you want, I would kind of stake it out, and as soon as it gets put down, go grab some. They are really good about refilling all of the stations. In regards to the sweets, this is for all my chocolate lovers out there. I mean, they do change what they have quite often, but for the most part, it's a lot of chocolate. So they'll have brownies, chocolate chip cookies, they'll have an Oreo kind of dessert, they'll have a gray stuff dessert, they will have sugar cookies that the kids can decorate. They will have some kind of like layered puddings. They usually have a key lime thing. They'll have like a celebration cupcake. The variety of desserts is really good. They've got chocolate covered strawberries. There was something for everybody. When we went with my friend Melissa, we did the post dessert party, and there really was. There was a little something for everybody. They had these little push pop things. It was a really good variety and range of desserts. I think my favorite thing was the key lime, the chocolate covered strawberry, and then there was like this mousse. I want to say it was like a butterscotch kind of a mousse that was really, really good. So that's kind of your gist in regards to the pre and post dessert party, but we still need to talk about the seats and suites. And look who's joined us.
It's me.
So Jeffrey's joining me to talk about the seats and suites right now because we did this for our anniversary a year ago. It was one of the items that we did. We did the Keys to Magic Kingdom tour, which was amazing. And then we did the seats and suites for Happily Ever After. So seats and suites is very, very similar to what it sounds like. You get to sit through the entire fireworks, which is really nice. You are seated you're still in Tomorrowland Terrace, but you're seated more kind of over by where the Golden Stitch statue is on the purple wall. And you get all of the same desserts as you do for the post dessert party.
Yeah.
They were a tiny bit different, but that was mainly because it was a different time of year. So it was kind of like, it was 5 months after we went with Melissa?
I think so.
So there were a few desserts that were changed up a little bit. Again, you get in about an hour, it was about an hour before the fireworks started. The only thing that I noticed that was different for the seats and suites though, is they actually started taking away the desserts about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes
Yeah.
before the fireworks show started. So you were kind of like, oh, last call, I need to go get a beverage. I need to go get another plate for actually during the fireworks. And
The drinks was different. The beer was different.
oh, were they?
Yeah, because they their tap, so they had a whole bunch of like the Blue Moons set out, and they wasn't taking those away. They just wasn't refilling anymore. So I mean, they wasn't the coldest, but they've been sitting there for a few minutes, and you might as well just grab whatever you want before the fireworks go.
Yeah, and they do have people manning, especially where you get the alcoholic beverages. But yeah, it's kind of the same thing like when you see like the fruit coming out. If you see something fresh being put out, go get it, especially if it's hot, especially if it's something you really like. Like you want that fresh batch, you don't want the batch that's just been sitting.
Yeah.
So with the sweets and seats, the other thing I will say is they do cram a lot of tables very close. So you do get to know the people that are next to you. It wasn't bad. We were at a table for two, and literally you may have been able to get a third person there.
Maybe.
But they have, depending on how many people are in your party and how many parties, they really do squish you in. But we were right up against the barrier. We had decent views.
Yeah.
You are further to the side of the castle than you are when you do the pre and post
Because the pre and
fireworks.
post is the one in the grass, right?
In the hub, yeah.
In the hub, okay, yeah.
And so you are a little bit farther to the side. You do have a little bit more blockage because you are under the overhang a little bit of the Tomorrowland Terrace. But I really enjoyed both. Obviously, the pre and post party was cheaper. They ran about, when we went with Melissa, it was $99 a person. And then when we did the sweets and seats, it was $169. So there is a bit of a price difference. They were definitely refreshing more, I think, at the post firework dessert party than they were the seats and sweets.
Yeah.
It was so the seats and sweets did feel like you didn't have an opportunity to have as much in as much of a time frame, I guess. Because especially with the post, you could sit there the rest of the evening pretty much, and they'll just clean up around you, and they will take everything away. But I think we were at the post for 45 minutes.
And just to be truthful, is the post is more geared, not so much, there's not as many kids on the post.
Yeah.
Because, you know, most of them did the pre and then watched the fireworks and went
then
home.
left.
The adults are usually the ones that will stay a little bit longer.
Yeah, we did have kids in our post one,
But
but
not-
we noticed when we checked in for our seats and suites, it was a lot busier at the pre, and there were a lot more kids when we did that second one. So here's where you have to make a decision. Number one, do you feel like both of them were worth the money?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Number two, if you could do them again, which one would you do?
Seats and suites.
You would?
Definitely. I mean,
Okay.
I enjoyed being able to have a seat and actually, instead of having to sit in grass. I mean, sitting in the grass was great, having an actual spot, but actually being up there and just being able to just sit down, maybe drink a beer while you're watching it,
Mm-hmm.
it was great.
So I actually liked the post better. I feel like we had actually had a better view in the hubgrass than we did for the seats and suites. And I liked that I felt like they were refilling and things were a little bit fresher when we did the post party.
Okay, well, I'll do the
you can do the seats and
the
sweets,
sweets.
and you can sit there on your own, and then after the fireworks, I'll go up to the post party, chill and have a drink, and then I'll meet you a little bit later after you've fought all the crowds. But no, I think that they were both really great. I think it's a great thing to try and do. I don't think it's an do it every time kind of a thing. But it is special, and I think it is a good, fun thing to do. I don't know if I would take kids to it, especially if you have a child that is over the age of 9, so they're not getting the child's price. I think if you're paying adult price for a 10-year-old, I think for an adult, I think you make up your money for that with the alcohol. So I think it's, for us, a little bit more worth it if we took our, 10-year-old and 15-year-old. I don't know if it would be as worth it, especially because both of them are very picky, and I don't think that they would try as much also.
Yeah, definitely not. And I think I 100% agree with you on that. Is the problem with spending the extra money just for a seat? I mean, not, and even with the pre and post, it's still. I mean, I would do the pre and post. I would do the seats and suites. I would do them all again, not every time. Once a year, once every couple of years. But not every time. But when it comes to spending that kind of money for kids, that's probably gonna. I mean, I could spend $10, well, maybe $20 on a tour or something sweet for Hannah and Dylan, and they would be happy.
Don't kill our kids with a Magic Kingdom churro, please.
I know.
Don't do it. Don't do it, people.
Or cinnamon roll, or
get them ice cream.
Get
them
ice cream, or
there
something like that.
Go to Plaza and get some ice cream.
But that's the point. Is you don't have to spend $99 for them to enjoy, because that's all they're gonna eat, because they're gonna have like one sweet. That's how my kids are,
Yeah.
They're gonna have one thing and they're gonna be done.
Yeah. So maybe if you have kids who, especially with the heat of the summer, if you're going, it may not be worth it for kids. I think if it's you and your spouse, or you have older kids, I would say it's probably worth it. If you have picky eaters, I probably wouldn't do it. But we did enjoy it. We would do it again. Occasionally they have them at Epcot. I would love to do one at Epcot. I think that would be amazing. And yeah.
And I honestly think it's great for solo trips with your spouse, empty nesters, any of those where you're not really with the kids. It's great. It's just hard to justify spending that kind of money for. I mean, you think the cheapest one was $99?
$99, yeah.
So you're looking at $400 for a if you have 2 kids over the age of 10.
But you also have to compare it to like a character breakfast, and so it's in that same realm, because it's just a more specialized event with seating, with little tidbits as well. But it's that's kind of the thing. It's like, if your kids enjoy something like that, if fireworks is important to your family, then yes, 100% it's worth it. At Disneyland, they do, like, you can get like executive parade locations and stuff with dining packages. So it's all about what your family wants and likes. So yes, we would definitely do it again. I'd do post. He'll be in the seats and suites. But also, the other thing I love about the post.
I'll do sweets and sweets and post. So
no. So anyway, but the nice thing about the post too is everybody has cleared out.
Yeah.
By the time you're done eating your desserts, and you have a very short hop. So anyway, yeah, it is definitely worth it. It's a once in a lifetime thing. Again, not something we would say do every trip, but definitely a treat to try.
I'm itchy.
So the other thing we want to talk about in regards to fireworks dessert parties, there is one at the top of the Contemporary in California Grill. You can also do a fireworks cruise dessert party where you're out on Seven Seas Lagoon and they have desserts and kind of, it's all the same sweets and treats and drinks and all that kind of stuff. Between all of them, I think California Grill actually gives you some things that are a little bit different, but it's kind of the whole same idea. You can also watch the fireworks from the beach of the Polynesian and the Grand Floridian. There's lots of places to be able to watch the fireworks that's a little less crowded. You can also rent pontoon boats on Seven Seas Lagoon from the Contemporary, the Polynesian, and the Grand Floridian, and watch them on a kind of more of like a private setting. If you have anxiety and don't like being around crowds, that is a great opportunity as well.
I do want to do the tour.
Which one?
The one on the.
You want to do the big boat, or you want to do the pontoon boat?
I can't remember.
I want to do the pontoon boat. Because it's like, it's a captain. They actually drive you around Seven Seas Lagoon.
Oh, yeah, that's the one
and then you actually get to be on the lagoon in your boat. There's a ton of boats out there, but that one seems really neat to me and like really, really special.
I think that's the one I was thinking about.
I think so too, because LNS did it.
Yes.
So anyway, there are tons and tons of options. You can also go over to the Contemporary and watch it from there. They have different balconies that have like walkways that go across and they pump in the music. So Main Street is not the only place to watch the fireworks from. There are a lot of places that are a little bit less crowded and you still get to have the same enjoyment, especially if you want to go see Happily Ever After and you're not in Magic Kingdom that day. Or if you're going to a Halloween party or a Christmas party and, you know, Happily Ever After is only happening on certain nights and the day that's your Magic Kingdom Day is for a party, and so you're not going to see it, you can always do one of these things. And it's really, really a neat option and gives you a different view. So, yeah. Yep. There's always something new and different, which is always really, really exciting.
And when we're talking about the on the where they have the viewing spots at the restaurants at restaurants, they do pump in the music on those.
Yeah. So if you're having dinner at Citricos, or if you are at the Grand Floridian Cafe, or if you are at Ohana, or I don't think that there are any California Grill, obviously. They pump in the music and you get to hear Happily Ever After and you see that view of fireworks. They do a similar thing also at the Riviera for Epcot. They pump in the music to the patio for Luminous, and you can see the fireworks at Epcot from there. So there's lots of different viewpoints. This is our opinion on the dessert party in Magic Kingdom, and I mean, it's definitely something we'll do again. And I would love to do California Grill. I think that would be amazing. And the boat. So I think we'll do probably one of those before we do the sit down at Tomorrowland Terrace again. But overall, it's good. So it's good. It's fun. And it's like anything else you do in Disney. It's an extra and you just kind of weigh if it's worth it for you. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us and talking with us about the dessert parties. If you have any questions about the dessert party, please leave a comment, subscribe, check us out. We do have a trip happening this summer and we'll be announcing that in our next video. But yeah, we just thank you for watching Dreamy Maxi Style and have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.